It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are?
Right now on the 10 o'clock news.
Breaking right now, chaos on campus at Columbia as police move in. You can see officers going in on a ladder, climbing through the window of Hamilton Hall, which protesters stormed overnight. Good evening. Thanks for being with us. I'm Steve Lacey.
And I'm Natasha Verma. Of course, this has all been escalating ever since the protests began at Columbia almost 2 weeks ago. But tonight, the NYPD has moved in just hours after Mayor Adams told protesters, quote, "This must end now." And it's not just Columbia. This is video just into our newsroom of CCNY in Harlem, where police are moving in with barricades. And we've got a live look at Columbia right now, where the NYPD operation is well underway.
All right, we have Fox 5 live team coverage tonight. Linda Schmidt and Jessica Formoso, both live in Morningside Heights, just outside Columbia. Teresa Priolo is at CCNY, where protesters are currently clashing with police. Let's start, though, with Linda, who is on the Hamilton Hall side, where protesters have been holed up tonight. Linda.
That's right. Good evening, first of all, to both of you. And there are literally hundreds of police officers out here, most of them in riot gear. Now, about 9:13, and I'm being very specific here, I know, 9:13, we received an email from the NYPD saying, quote, "The operation at Columbia has commenced." And that's when we saw police in riot gear move in here. Go ahead and take a look at this video here. This is a major piece of equipment that is used by the NYPD's ESU. And what this truck does is it allows them to get up next to a building and be able to access a building above the first floor. And that's what they did here. They all of the officers moving up the ramp after it was lowered next to the window, and then they broke through the window to get into Hamilton Hall. What they are doing here is they are retaking Hamilton Hall from the protesters who violently broke into Hamilton Hall overnight. They had used hammers to break glass doors in order to gain access to Hamilton Hall. And once they are inside there, they are moving through Hamilton Hall right now. They are searching for the protesters, most of whom both the mayor and the police commissioner say are outside professional agitators who have come in and who have hijacked what were supposed to be peaceful protests here on the university. And they believe that most of the people, the students here, that they were manipulated by these professional agitators. They are inside Hamilton Hall right now. They will be making arrests. At some point, they will be coming out of Hamilton Hall, but we don't know when that is going to happen yet. But I want you to go ahead and take a look at the other video as well. This is from overnight, showing those protesters, again, violently breaking into Hamilton Hall. They used hammers to break through a glass door. And then once they got inside, police and the mayor say they were intimidating other students who were inside. They wouldn't let other students into the hall who were supposed to be allowed access to the hall. In addition to that, they were using actual police-type barricades and bringing them into the hall, as well as using furniture to help barricade themselves, and they were intimidating the students who were inside. Now, at a news conference, and this happened earlier this evening, both the mayor and the police commissioner saying that what had happened here had turned into chaos, and that the tactics overnight showed that there had been an escalation, and that, quote, things out here had reached the next level, and there was a real cause for concern. They also said that they have been in constant contact with officials at Columbia University throughout all of this, and that Columbia tonight, a senior city official telling me that Columbia University earlier, about 45 minutes ago, reached out to the NYPD and said, okay, you can come on campus now to clear everything out. The mayor at the news conference earlier tonight that he had given, along with the police commissioner, basically just giving everybody an ultimatum, saying, look, this is your opportunity to get out. This is your opportunity to leave the encampment. This is your opportunity to leave Hamilton Hall. and he actually urged parents to tell their kids, hey, get out of there. That was the warning sign that they were probably going to be moving in this evening because there was such concern. In addition to that, I am being told by a senior city official that a wife of an actual indicted terrorist has been on campus during these protests. Another thing that created major concern for the city. Now, like I said, the mayor and the police commissioner holding a news conference earlier tonight, and here's what they all had to say.
We urge those and everyone else violating Columbia's order to leave the area and leave the area now. And if you are a parent or guardian of a student, please call your child and urge them to leave the area before the situation escalates in any way. This is for their own safety and for the safety of others.
These protests have been and are being influenced by external actors who are unaffiliated with universities, some of whom have been known to our department and others for many years for their dangerous, disruptive, and at times criminal activity associated with protests for years.
For the individuals that are inside of Hamilton Hall, they will be charged with burglary in the third degree, criminal mischief, and trespassing. For the individuals that are in the encampments outside, they will be charged with trespassing and disorderly conduct.
Okay, so as you can see right there, the NYPD, they are not messing around with this. They are going in full force, and they have had enough. Obviously, the university has had enough as well, and there had been growing concern, especially over the past 24 hours, after they had broken into Hamilton Hall and barricaded themselves inside, intimidating other students as well, they say. So as far as what's happening here now, it just started to rain, and we're just waiting to see what's going to be happening with Hamilton Hall, with the officers that went in there using that major piece of equipment again, which is used by ESU to access buildings in this way. But they are definitely making arrests. There are some of the demonstrators around us. They are chanting, shame on you, shame on you. Sometimes they start cursing. That could happen at any time. But as for right now, that's what's happening at this moment. I know Jessica Formoso, my colleague, is on the Broadway side of Columbia University, and you guys are going to be hearing from her in just a moment. But for right now, that's the very latest from here.
All right, Linda, thank you. And we do actually want to go to Jessica now again on the Broadway side of campus. Jess, I understand that you actually saw the NYPD moving in. Can you talk to us about what you saw?
Natasha, that's right. We are in the middle right here between Amsterdam and Broadway on West 114th. I'm going to set the scene for you so I can confirm for you tonight that we saw protesters come out, arrested by police. The NYPD moved in, and we saw a number of protesters being removed from inside Columbia University. Now, I'm going to take you guys. Oh, we have video. Okay, so that video that you guys are watching right now, that was from earlier over on Broadway, where we were when police were moving in, police in riot gear. And as they were coming closer to campus, there were pro-Palestinian protesters cursing at police, saying that they were the KKK, shame on you. But again, we saw a lot of police coming onto campus, and around 9 o'clock, like Linda said, that's when they moved in. They couldn't move in until Columbia University administrators gave them the green light, and around that time, that's when Columbia said, come in, you're allowed to come onto our property. And just minutes ago, we witnessed protesters, student protesters being walked out in zip ties by NYPD officers. There were a number of buses out here waiting for those protesters. One of them, filled with protesters, went down 114 onto Amsterdam. You're going to take a look. Jimmy's going to show you right there. There's a number of protesters, a number of police. Barricades are up, and they were chanting, shame on you, shame on you. Another thing I want to show you here, Jimmy, we can just turn the camera this way. The dorms are right across the street, and you can see police 6 NYPD officers standing outside every single door. No students are allowed out or in of their dorms. We were told that they were told by university officials to shelter in place. And you're taking a live look. Students looking outside their windows at times chanting, cursing out the NYPD. And now you're seeing police officers moving towards Amsterdam. I don't know. This is all unfolding as we're speaking, so unclear why they're heading that way. We do see up 114 going towards Broadway. And Jimmy, if we can just point out this direction, there's still 2 NYPD buses waiting there. They are not filled with students just yet, so it's unclear if more students are still inside the building and they're waiting to remove them. We have to say, though, that the NYPD has been very courteous to the media, allowing us to get as close as we are to see those arrests being made and those students being walked out. And now we're zooming into Amsterdam right now. As you can see, the police are walking towards Amsterdam, and you can hear the protesters that are out there yelling at police. This is a live look of what's happening here. Earlier, though, while we were on Broadway and 116th, when we saw police getting ready to come into Columbia University, we were able to speak to a faculty member. He didn't want to give us his name. He told us he was from the medical school at Columbia University, and he was honest. He said that he is very sad to see the situation, but did say that the administration was negotiating with these students. They even offered and said that they would invest money into Gaza to help those in need, but said, you know what, these students didn't want to negotiate. Let's hear from him a little bit more.
And this is very disruptive to all the kids that are graduating, and it's sad for them, and it's too late to reschedule and put it into Yankee Stadium or some other venue, and it's just unfair. At this point, you have to do something that will take care of the university and follow the rules, and that's it.
Gotta let them protest. Gotta let them come out and do what they do. You know, this is a free country. Can't block over this. Send riot police. Send squads out here.
Yes, they're coming out at us.
You're gonna be on camera when you come back.
Oh, sorry. So as you can know, this is a fluid situation, and we're just trying to see here what exactly is happening over by the buses. I do see police officers over there standing outside those buses, so unclear if more students are going to be brought out. We know that a lot of officers, as you saw live when we were reporting, walked down 114th onto Amsterdam, and right there you're hearing protesters. Now, where we are, like I said, we are on West 114th between Amsterdam and Broadway. It's unclear where this entrance leads us to, the building. I want to say could possibly be by the encampment, but I'm not 100% sure at this time. I'm going to investigate that to see what this entrance leads us to. But again, I can confirm that arrests have been made and police did remove protesters. They might be students. They might not even be students from Columbia University, because as you know, the mayor and the commissioner saying earlier today that a lot of these protesters don't even come to Columbia University. They're just agitators. But I'm sure police will be updating us as to how many arrests, who has been arrested, and the charges they're now facing. But again, those who are here at the dorm, they are not allowed in or out of that building. Police officers standing guard at every single entrance. We can see these students, I'm looking at them right now, that they're outside their windows, hanging outside their windows, just looking on everything that's happening here, just unfolding. But for now, I'm going to send it back to both of you, Steve and Natasha. And of course, we're going to stay right here, try to see if what else is happening and if more arrests will be made. Again, like I said, there's still 2 NYPD buses here waiting. So,
all right, and Jess, you know, obviously this is an incredibly delicate situation there. Just on the ground, what's your perspective on the percentage of people around you who are pro-NYPD versus anti-NYPD, if you had to guess?
No, there are more anti-NYPD. I mean, every chant that we have heard. I did see earlier on Broadway, and I counted. There were 5 Jewish students who were thanking the NYPD as they were making their way onto campus grounds. Everybody else there were cursing them out, saying, "You are the KKK. Leave. You know, why are you in riot gear?" So yeah, definitely anti-police here tonight.
Jess, you mentioned that you saw some protesters coming out in zip ties, arresting arrested by police. Do you know an idea of how many you saw coming out who may have been arrested? Have any of them been boarded then into any of those buses that you saw right behind you?
Yes, one bus filled with protesters left before we came on the air. That I can confirm. I'm not sure how many seats that bus has, but I can say it was possibly maybe a dozen, if not more, and arrested, I would say, from where we were, because we were able to move closer. But when it started happening, we were behind a bus that was blocking our view. So I actually saw someone walking out, and that's when I said to Jimmy Mitchell, our photographer, I said, look, they're coming out. And we zoomed in. We were able to get that footage. But I would say at least a dozen, if not more, have been arrested already at this hour.
Yeah, and Jess, also, I think, this is a really stressful time for students. I mean, May 15th is graduation. The final exams going on right now. I know that there's shelter in place, but have you had the opportunity to talk to any students out there? I mean, any idea of just kind of the sentiment from them?
So I was able to speak to students when we were on the Broadway side. Now here, NYPD has us in pens, so we can't really move around too much. But when I spoke to some students there, a lot of students, I have to say, didn't even want to talk to us. That's first of all. And when I was able to speak to a student, he just told me that, students have the right to protest and police have the right to be here, but they shouldn't be using force or going in. And hold on one second here, because here comes another bus. Jimmy, let's zoom in here. And I think there are protesters here. Yes, there are. Look, guys, live look at the protesters here. Some of them wearing masks. NYPD officers on that bus. You're taking a live look. This is the second bus that has left this area between Broadway and Amsterdam on West 114th Street.
Yeah, very well. Yeah, and obviously the protesters weering the masks, outside agitators, etc. Obviously a huge issue, trying to hide their identity, of course. And also can't help but think about the students in the dorms not being allowed to come or go. Obviously, they all have opinions of their own. That has to be tense. I hope things are staying calm inside the dorms as people share their own opinions about what's going on while they don't have the freedom of movement at this moment. All right, and the tensions also escalating at CCNY, where protesters have been clashing with police tonight.
Fox 5's Teresa Priolo is live in Harlem with the latest. Teresa, what do you see going on out there?
Sort of a similar situation here at CCNY that you're seeing at Columbia, although we do see NYPD buses empty now. I'm curious to see if what the situation that's unfolding at Columbia may potentially take place here in a little bit. Behind me, you see the NYPD. They are lined up as they have been for the better part of, I would say, the last 45 minutes or so. They also have barricades on trucks. They are standing by as protesters let their voices be heard here. It does feel as if we are at something of a tipping point here at CCNY. This marks the 6th day of protests. Each day they grow bigger and bigger. Chants of free Palestine, and as we saw earlier tonight, the occasional firecracker lighting up the night sky. Now, police clashed with those inside of what's known as the Gaza Solidarity encampment, a little earlier today. There has been a large police presence here, some in riot gear. There are also some reports of pepper spray and some arrests. Scrums of protesters being hauled off by cops as well, and we have video to show you of that. Over the chanting of the crowds, you can hear the NYPD telling people to disperse or risk being arrested for disorderly conduct. Back out here live, as many might know if you're following the news on this, it was announced that CCNY is now fully remote. I was talking to some Jewish students here who don't feel comfortable going on camera, but they said that there are essentially two parts of the campus here. There's the north side where we are, and then there's the south side. Both campuses are shut down, but those students who live on campus are being forced to walk all the way around and attempt to get in through another entrance because so many of the entrances to the college are shut down at this time. A lot of people going by, honking their horns, certainly, again, a lot of police presence, and a lot of chanting by protesters. If you saw in that video a little earlier, the most active part was right under that arch there, and that's where they were waving flags and also setting off firecrackers. At one point, the fire department came by, but again, things at this point do look calm. We are hoping that it stays that way. There are empty NYPD buses standing by, should that not be the case. That's the latest from Harlem tonight. Send things back to you guys in the studio.
Very well. All right, Teresa, a tipping point indeed does appear to be taking place as we speak. Now, protests have moved outside outside of the NYU campus. The university said it will take disciplinary action against students who refuse to leave the encampment on campus. It came after protesters defied a noon deadline yesterday from the school to get out. They'd been on the Green Street walkway since Friday afternoon. The school believes that outsiders played a role in these continuing protests. So far, officials have not given any details about exactly what punishments they may be facing.